Most ocean liner stories are tales of glory, triumph and tragedy at sea, but the story of SS America is different. She was never the world's largest, nor the fastest, nor the most famous. In fact, for much of her life, she sailed in the shadows of the great transatlantic giants. Yet in the end, it was her undignified and haunting wreck that ensured her place in maritime history. Launched in 1939, America was one of only a handful of great liners built in the United States. She was the creation of William Francis Gibbs, the visionary naval architect who would later design the legendary SS United States. That ship, launched in 1952, smashed the speed records by crossing the Atlantic in just 3 days and 10 hours, and today the record has never been broken. It's a pity that ship now lays as an artificial reef off the coast of Florida. The family resemblance between the two liners was unmistakable, and America can be seen as the prototype for her bigger, faster sister, now immortalised in the history books. The America's interiors were striking in their own right. They were designed by Dorothy Marquardt and Anne Urquhart, and it was incredibly rare to have women designing the interior of ships, which was really a completely male-dominated industry. But Dorothy and Anne's designs reflected a modern America, an elegance and a departure from the heavy old world styles of European liners. World War II interrupted her civilian career. She was requisitioned by the US Navy and she was renamed the USS West Point and became a troopship. During the conflict, she carried tens of thousands of men across the oceans, serving with distinction and surviving the war unscathed, miraculously. In the post-war years, many liners were scrapped or mothballed, victim of the rise of aviation, but America was fortunate. She returned to civilian service and found new markets, carrying passengers across the Atlantic and on cruises. In 1964, she was sold to the Greek company Chandris Lines and renamed Australis. With many modifications in this new role, she became an immigrant ship, transporting hundreds of thousands of Europeans to new lives in Australia and New Zealand. Between 1965 and 1977, more than 300,000 people made the long voyage aboard her. And we've been given access to these images that capture the mood and spirit of those optimistic families sailing through the warm Pacific waters to a new life down under. By the 1980s, the Australis, as she was known then, was getting tired and worn out, and she was spending long periods laid up in various Greek shipyards. Her final chapter began in 1992 when she was sold to investors who planned to transform her into a floating luxury hotel in Thailand. Renamed American Star, she set out under tow across the Atlantic to her new future. But fate intervened. In January 1994, while being hauled down the African coast, a heavy storm snapped the tow lines. The helpless ship drifted and finally ran aground off the Canary Islands of Fuerteventura. And within just 48 hours, the pounding waves had split the ship in two. For over a decade, her skeletal remains stood as a ghostly landmark, a surreal tourist attraction. Slowly, the ocean claimed her, and today, nothing remains. The SS America may not have been the grandest of liners, but her story is unforgettable. A ship that served with quiet distinction for over half a century, only to become iconic in her ruin.